All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we are checking out a fan film from one Joshua Michael Gennari, the Renaissance man, also known as JM Truth. Now, JM Truth believes the Earth is flat, or at least he says he does. Also, according to himself, he has a list of accolades as long as his arm. Among the most prominent is his master's degree in science for pamphlet making from Full Sail University. Now, let's hear from JM himself some of his other qualifications.
And in 2015, I graduated with my Master's of Science degree in Instructional Design and Technology. I spent 12 years as a combat medic in the United States Army. Then I went on to get my Bachelor of Arts degree in Film Production and Graphic Design. I spent part of my time a few years ago as a chef for Baylor University.
Look, I've done photography and videography for many years, dude, so you better not even go there because I've been a director, a cinematographer, I've been an executive producer, I've owned 3 film companies, so you're talking out your ass at this point. So I've fired mortars, I've studied mortars, I've studied angular momentum. I went to a modified sniper training, yeah.
Now that those of you who aren't familiar with JM Truth have an idea of what he's capable, let's take a look at his Superman fan film, Judgment. Jumping right into the film, his intro is worse than a lot of 90s video games. It has the familiar John Williams fanfare from the classic Superman movies, but quickly morphs into a generic synth orchestral theme. JM's little sister or cousin apparently has a Casio keyboard. His intro, surprise surprise, shows a globe Earth, no doubt from before he found the truth of the flat Earth. We get the blandest looking text crawl in cinematic history. Come on, JM, put a little flair into your work. If we have to read this sludge, at least make it look more interesting than the FBI copyright warning screen. Dear viewers, things are really bad in America right now. There's been 20 years of some unspecified standoff with North Korea. Even though we could rip through North Korea in a long weekend if we had to, with just a couple of aircraft carriers. JM Truth has more of a chance of winning an Oscar for directing Avatar 2, Once You Go Blue, You Can't Have Anyone Else's Goo, than North Korea has at any kind of military standoff. But I digress. The point is, things are so fucking bad for the United States military that there has to be a law put in place saying that at any moment, government agents can boot down your door, grab grandma, give her an M16, and drop her into a foxhole. And apparently this law doesn't just apply to US citizens either. If you are Lars from Sweden, the pride of your family for getting accepted into MIT, you better hope the Marines aren't having a shortage of shrapnel catchers somewhere in East Bumfuckistan.
I want you to make sure you show proper respect to Mr. Kent.
Our opening scene, as you can clearly see, is overexposed and washed out. I guess to JM, lighting means either off or on. He doesn't know much about sound either. The footsteps on gravel are as loud or louder than the dialogue. And the way the shots are cut together is super awkward. It looks like the G-men are walking to the front door, but then the next cut shows them walking around to the side of the house. And that's the actual cut. I didn't trim anything out to make him look worse than he already is.
Mr. Kent, I'm Agent Henshaw. This is Agent Grant.
The G-men introduce themselves as agents. Of what organization, you might ask? Well, go fuck yourself. JM's not going to tell you. They don't even show Clark Kent here their identifications. The G-men are here to draft Clark Kent because of how bad things are. So bad, in fact, they can't even afford to put a mic on Clark.
What's the guy do with me?
Mr. Kent, the government is aware of your special abilities, and we need your assistance in helping us bring some things under control.
Your assistance will be invaluable.
No, it won't.
Mr. Kent, you understand what happens if you refuse this offer. You'll be in direct violation of Article 5150 of the Patriot Act of 2035.
Now, according to G-Goatee, it's at least 2035. The car they drove to get to Clark Kent's house looks to be an early Prius, which means things are so bad, government agents have to drive around in 30-year-old cars.
Mr. Kent, we don't mean for this to come across as a threat. We just need your assistance in this simple matter. We have it on highest authority that the no power sanction could be lifted. You could be a hero again.
That's what you're saying. By the rap of the gavel, all my sins will be forgiven.
Except for the part about being a traitor.
What's your name? Agent Grant?
Yeah.
You ever been to the moon?
No.
Talk to me like that again.
Okay, listen,
Agent Grant, that might be the worst idea you ever had.
This audio quality is pure garbage. I can barely understand what Mumbles of Steel is saying. Now, I myself am not a filmmaker, but I guess ADR is just really, really hard to do for JM.
You have 24 hours to respond to our request, or we're going to be back here with our friends.
The G-Men tell Clark Kent that he has 24 hours to agree to help them with his immense powers, or they will come back with more guys. This is supposed to be Superman they're talking to, right? This is like a couple guys made out of wet newspaper saying if you don't do what we say, we're coming back with more guys made out of wet newspaper. I don't get what the threat is.
What are you gonna do, bleed on me?
They mentioned something called a no power sanction. How does that work? And how do they even know who the fuck he is? Did Clark Kent pinky swear that he wouldn't use his powers? Isn't that a character trait of Superman? He'll stand up to unjust laws? Obviously, he still has his powers. That's the whole reason the G-Men are there in the first place. They never elaborate on the traitor thing either. The government will draft anyone they want to on US soil, but they will let people they consider traitors just walk around free. This plot makes no sense. We go inside Grandma's house where Juice Wayne is waiting, and they have a badly scripted conversation where Juice Wayne says the NKs have a kryptonite WMD, which will either be used, killing Clark Kent, or he retrieves the weapon, and the G-Men have a way of holding him over a barrel. Superman can't think of a third alternative, like maybe throwing the weapon into the fucking sun or something, so he goes off to think. When the camera angle switches, we're left to assume that Juice Wayne jumped out the window because he's completely gone. This shot implies Clark Kent is soaring off into the sky, but the effect is completely ridiculous, and I use the term effect in its loosest possible sense. He might as well be jumping over the camera in order to get to his 1997 Buick LeSabre that's parked directly behind it.
Today, I pass judgment on Kal-El, son of Krypton, known to those as Superman. Superman, you have been found guilty of treason and the non-compliance of an act of Congress. You have already entered your plea, and both parties have agreed so that no contest will be honored, and you will abide by the order of this court. As of today, you will no longer be allowed to use your superpowers on American soil. This includes, but is not limited to, your speed, strength, flight, and any other power that is deemed super by this order.
We get some kind of memory flashback thing, and the fan film goes into crossover territory, as apparently the Incredible Hulk is a judge now. Since when does the US government have jurisdiction over extraterrestrials? Why would he willingly choose not to use his powers and let innocent people suffer? He's supposed to be Superman after all. Doing the right thing is at the core of the character. It's not like he doesn't have a problem with breaking the rule anyway when it feels like it. He flew to the cemetery. And he's only banned from using his powers on American soil. Why doesn't he just move north and stand for truth, justice, and the Canadian way? He should be out saving people, not moping around Jam's grandma's house looking like a reject Pearl Jam roadie. After moping around the cemetery, presumably visiting Lois Lance's grave, but Jam can't afford a prop tombstone, so we never see the name. He goes back to Grandma's house, and we get the big reveal.
No more.
Emo Superman. I kind of dig the half red, half blue lighting, and if Jam was a competent director with someone who even slightly resembled Superman, this might have had a chance of being a cool reveal. They really went all out on the suit though. They must have spent easily tens of dollars. Look at that thing. spandex bodysuit with sleeveless robe, and a dollar store Superman emblem hot glued to the chest? Why bother with something that looks like a Superman costume when you can use the Dark Superman excuse to look like a lazy cosplayer? Now, I know you've been wondering, do we ever get to see him fly? I know I was waiting to see the glory of JM's Superman in flight, and yes, dear viewer, we will see him take flight.
So be it. But this time, I'll be the judge.
And being a JM Truth film, what we get is a blurry Mary Poppins. And that's all we get too. JM could not be bothered to have the guy lay on a table in front of a green screen for a few seconds. I have no idea where he's going. For all I know, he could be going to the nearest gas station for a Colt 45. Don't ask me about the red eyes either. Maybe he's a Terminator, which would mean this is our third crossover. We have come to our final scene, and it's a hammy director cameo by none other than Joshua Michael himself. Hope you enjoy.
Senator, we met with Mr. Kent. I think he's gonna play.
Agent Henshaw, you don't get paid.
We're going to take a look at some of the credits. White text on partially white logo. It's probably not the choice I would have made, but what the fuck do I know? I'm not a filmmaker. JM uses more names than you can find on the average Facebook page. JM, JM Truth, Joshua Michael, Joshua Gennari, Joshua Deus Gennari, sometimes just Deus. You will find him sprinkled throughout the credits. JM is notorious for his misspellings. I don't know what his problem is. He must have been abused by a dictionary as a child or something. The title of the film, Judgment, is spelled correctly, but he misspells judge. Also, there's no E in Luthor. And there may even be more than that. Have fun with your Easter egg hunt. DP Ryan Krause was presumably recruited from the local high school film club. JM gives himself a crane operator credit. Where was a crane used in this film? I can't see him doing much more than holding a camera while standing on a milk crate. Each effect has its own credit as well, including hologram, with an H. This must be a situation where he couldn't pay anyone, but promised to put their names in the credits anyway. Dude even gets a credit for letting them borrow his car. I'm sure Raphael appreciates his name being spelled incorrectly. There's even a fucking story advisor. A story advisor? What kind of advice was he giving? I think it would be cool if Superman threatened to punch a dude into the moon. Thanks, Adam. And he gives himself a fucking ADR credit. JM, you lazy bastard. Why did you ADR your one line in the entire film, but leave the rest of the dialogue sounding like you recorded it with a turn-up? This was a sloppy mess of a film. It fails on every level, from the creative to the technical. The story is nonsensical, the video is poorly shot and clumsily edited, the audio is worse than recordings from 100 years ago. Yet JM Truth has the stones to brag about him being a filmmaker. He makes Tommy,
You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
Wiseau look like Stanley fucking Kubrick. Special thanks to Rider of Dinosaurs for the thumbnail, as well as for clips of JM Truth. If you're unfamiliar with the character that is JM Truth, you need to check out his channel. There's so much more to the story of JM Truth. He also makes great content debunking flat earth and pseudoscience. His channel will be linked in the description. And he's got a sexy voice if I do say so myself. Give him a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for today. Let me know if you'd like to see me review another of JM's films. Say hi to me on Discord or send me an email. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Prime, signing out.